Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Well, we'll be starting off with the situation. The House of Reps, by the way, met yesterday and responded to what the Mr. Joyce Nkamakolam did say while he was in the program about the purchase of those 2 armored vehicles. Let's get this report first, but thereafter we'll go over to our Abuja studios and join our guest there. But in the meantime, look at this.
For the last few weeks, the country's aviation sector has been under focus. From the Associated Airline crash to recent controversies over the purchase of $1.6 million armored cars by the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority. The sector also caught the attention of the House of Representatives. A lawmaker brought a motion on an airline being denied landing rights in Kano State.
Worried that blocking Qatar Airlines has crippled the prospect of the North as their push for international trade and business is going backward.
It was a motion that passed without debate. An ad hoc committee was set up to look into the matter. But the controversy over the purchase of armored cars was the one that caught the attention of the lawmakers.
It will be absurd, unthinkable, and indeed unpatriotic for an agency of government to connive with its political head to incur such an expenditure simply for the comfort and safety of one public officer.
The lawmaker moved that the House Committee on Aviation investigate the matter with some particular focus.
Whether the purchase was authorized by any appropriation law. 3. Whether the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority has been complying with the Fiscal Responsibility Act.
An issue an official of the NCAA had tried to address.
These due processes involves going through the National Assembly. We have the Committee on Aviation on the House of Reps has an oversight, function on my organization, as much as the Senate House Committee on Aviation. So there is no document, if we are talking about IGR approvals and all that, yes, it must go through those processes.
This was a response the lawmakers disagreed with.
Nigerians know that where the leakage is coming from, not the National Assembly, because as a committee, we are mindful of what Nigerians need, we are mindful of what the aviation industry needs, we are mindful of the regulatory needs. So we approve what we think is supposed to be used by NCA, not armored vehicles.
The House Committee on Aviation has been mandated to conclude its investigation within 1 week. Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
Well, there you have that. Let's now go over to Abuja studios where Zakari Mohammed joins us. He's the Chairman House Committee on Media and Publicity. Morning, and thank you for joining us today. First and foremost, the members of the House of Reps, perhaps individually, might have considered this or read it also in the news before the resumption on the floor of the House. What exactly is the House, what's their position on this before the committee was set up? Or do we have to wait for the committee? And what will be their terms of reference?
Obviously, yesterday, thank you very much, Chamberlain. But obviously yesterday, before now, we went on oversight functions that dovetailed into the Salah break. And we made it abundantly clear that since the 2014 budget was coming, there was need for us to be on ground to see exactly what the issues are. Of course, gladly yesterday we resumed for plenary. And before then, this issue has been in public domain. And we believe that it is very apt for us as your representatives, the people's representatives, to look at this issue rather with keen interest and, of course, begin to go to the roots of the matter. I have heard your guest yesterday, and it's laughable that at this time and age, where we have documents very clearly of a 2013 appropriation that is still going on, somebody would come to want to mislead Nigerians. And ordinarily, setting up the committee or mandating the statutory committee to look into the issue was to give them just 1 week at the times of references to look at whether or not the monies were actually appropriated for. Secondly, whether or not a due process was followed. And thirdly, the desirability. And of course, several other issues that will have been ancillary to the incident of the purchase of the armored vehicle. So it's a very straightforward task. And of course, in the next 1 week, like you had the speaker, the report will be turned out to Nigerians and it will be made very public.
Yeah, but come to think of it, Honorable Mohammed, I mean, some will wonder, will any such public officer, having seen the way this matter, the documents that are in public domain, would it deliberately and somehow, why would they do that if they at all do deliberately come on there and mislead people? If it says due process was followed.
We are coming up, we're coming from a tradition where even elders will begin to lie in the village square. And of course, that exactly is showing the sign of the times. But of course, we as a house and an institution would have it, is incumbent on us to rightly correct these impressions, because we can't be sitting as people's representatives and people will say that these issues were cleared from us. And ordinarily, this appearance on this program wouldn't have been necessary, because if we wait for the next 1 week to correct these impressions, a lot of things would at least go, because that exactly will not go, will not temper with our investigations.